Before we start talking about going to Atlanta and playing against whoever or the Iron Bowl and playoffs and all that stuff, we got the Sooners to deal with. They're going to try to upset our apple cart. But I'm here to talk about what we're going to do to turn that doggone Boomer Sooner upside down. Hey, welcome Tide fans. Welcome Tide fans. Welcome to Tide Sports. Let's get down to it. Hey, out of the love for the Tide, I watched some miserable football over the last 12 hours. I had to watch Oklahoma's last game because I didn't like what people were writing about them. I don't know if they was that atrocious, but trust me when I say that offense indeed was very atrocious. I mean, I watched the USC game, and I mean South Carolina, the real USC. The offensive line was confused by what the defense was presenting them. They're just confused. There was a lot of confusion. First, the quarterback be confused. Then the offensive line was confused. The running back be confused. Then sometimes a combo of confusion. They were confused. I was confused. I'm like, are y'all in college or high school? They lost that game 35-9, and it was just a bunch of mess. That's back in the day when it was still trying to determine whether they were going to play Jackson Arnold or what's this guy named Michael Hawkins or Stephen Hawkins. It didn't matter because Michael didn't do nothing either. Jackson Arnold is their guy. He's a sophomore. He got like 1,200 yards passing. He has 12 TDs and 3 interceptions, but he really don't throw a lot. He's a runner. But he's swag free. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like me. I ain't got no swag. Your boy Tight ain't got no swag. Jackson Arnold ain't got no swag. But I can lead. This guy's still working on his leadership. He's a sophomore. He don't want to start just choking seniors when he don't have to. He want them to just follow him, but they're not going to follow him. They don't follow him very far. He's like Diego Pavia without the cool brothers in the stands, without the beautiful mom, and without the just the leadership skills and the determination to make it all happen. Jackson is still feeling his way around the old SEC, and I don't want Saturday night to be the day that he finally gets it. Just checking on their injuries right now. They got like 8 players out. They're getting a tackle back that hadn't played for a while, but their best runner, Barnes, he ran for 200 yards in the last game he played in before twisting his ankle, probably because he didn't use his ankle that much. But that was against the University of Maine. Yes, that great powerhouse from the northest of the Northeast, Maine. He twisted his ankle, but he's supposed to be back. He ain't played, and let's not let him get started either. That USC game was one thing. Like I said, they lost 35-9. Then I went on to the Ole Miss game. Lane Kiffin kept these guys in the game for the first half because Lane, very disrespectful to the game. He does, he's analytics down. He went for 2 fourth downs, didn't get it. He was doing all this kind of stuff, but he finally righted the ship. I think at halftime, they were actually down, meanings Ole Miss was actually down like 14-12 or something. It's just Lane was he was not on his game that day. But in the second half, they turned it around. The offensive line, they fell for the old banana and tailpipe again. They just, like, there was just anything you did to them, they let you do it, and they lost that game. I think it was 26-14 before it was all over. Now, then I watched the Mizzou game, and a lot of times with a team that's 1-5 in the conference, I don't watch the whole game. Usually I can watch the first half and see what I want to see, especially if it's a blowout. Like the USC game, no need to watch all that. I had to watch most of the Ole Miss game to see how that turned out. But the Mizzou game, that was a tight game. Those teams are really equal. Brady Cook, quarterback from Mizzou, he was kind of still hampered by injury, but he was playing, he was throwing heat. But it kind of put him on the same level as Jackson because of his injury. Jackson played a decent game, but the defense, and that's where Oklahoma has their bread and butter right now in their defense. I'll go through some stats in a minute, but their defense is pretty much, that's where they have it. But in this game, Jackson and the boys, 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers. And I think Missouri scored on each one of them. Most of that stuff happened in the fourth quarter. I thought they were going to overtime, but somebody said, boo, Jackson dropped the ball, and the defensive lineman ran it in for Missouri, and that's how they clinched the game. So they just don't want to protect the ball. Only thing I will say about them is we have to be careful about their defense. We just have to be 100% careful about the defense. And here's something I noticed throughout all 3 of these games. Their special teams, they kind of like they play that Beamer ball. They tried to play Beamer ball with Beamer. Duh. But they try something. If it ain't a punter, pass, fake punt, something, they try stuff because they are desperate folks. Their offense is putrid. They don't try to do nothing too special, but they will try some old freaky dicky stuff on offense on their special teams. So if you're not careful, they will get you. Just to show you how we line up against them as the Crimson Tide right now, in scoring offense, the Tide is 8th in the nation at 39.5 points a game. And Oklahoma is 90th. Not far off in points, 14 points different, 25.1. They way down there. Tide is 28th in rushing at 192 yards a game. They're 86th in rushing at 143. I like to see that number much lower than 143 at the end of Saturday night. In passing, the Tide is 48th in passing. That's okay. That's for 246 yards a game. I don't like, passing the ball in college is kind of weird to me, but 250 is pretty good. And that's up and down the field 2.5 times. Would be nice to be at 3, but if we can go down the football field twice rushing the ball, I like that a lot better. They are 115th. Not too far off, but 183 yards passing. But they turn the ball over like a drunk person. Turn it over their money to a bartender. Third down conversions, the Tide is 21st in third down conversions. This is amongst 133 teams, 33 or 34 teams in FBS. That's 43%, 43.83%. We convert third downs. And that's 21st. I don't know what the highest team is, but I will tell you the Tide has been moving up all season long. And here we are. They are 115th. So I expect to see a lot of game-changing plays from our defense when it comes to 3 and out. Now, they are way down the chart, 93 positions away from us, something like that. But that still puts them at 35%. So I like to keep them at that or lower at the end of the day. Turnover margin, the Tide. Coach Womack been saying it. I didn't know what he was doing the first 4 games. I never thought the man should be thrown out because I was looking at the numbers, but he's been saying it over the last couple games. The identity of this defense is what? Turnovers. It's great to limit people to 75 yards rushing and limit them to 122 yards passing. That's great. But our turnover margin, we are 4th in the nation, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th in the nation at 1.3 of a turnover margin. That means we've gained 24 turnovers and we've only lost 11 as a team. It's a team effort. Oklahoma, on the other hand, they are 72nd. They give up 0.1 in turnover margin every game. 0.1, not a full 1, but I want a full 4 in this game going forward. They've gained 17 turnovers and they've lost 18, just 1 extra. It would be at 0, but as you see, even though we're at 1.3, we are 68 positions away from them. And this is good for us. Scoring defense, the Tide is 10th in the country. 16.9 points a game is what we give up. They are 40th at 21, basically 22 points a game, 21.9. Rushing defense. This is, I won't say flaw. This is a weakness of the Tide defense. We're 52nd. 52nd. They've talked about trying to work on this. They don't let them score down in the red zone too much, but we give up a lot of yards, and mainly because of rushing. And that can improve. it's been improving, but we're 52nd, giving up 132 yards per game on the ground. And a lot of that really is from the early in the season because Wisconsin ran, South Florida ran, even Georgia, they ran. So people have been running on the Tide. But as of late, it's been a lot better. Oklahoma, they're 19th. They don't like to let people rush. Their front seven, I will say front four, they're the defensive line, but their front seven as a group, they get on the run pretty good. The problem is you can throw them pretty easily. They give up 109 yards per game. We don't want to do that. We want them to give up a little bit more than that. We want about 175 yards based on how our team operates. I mean, if we're averaging 192, matter of fact, I want my 190, my 200 yards a game, to be honest. They ain't nobody special to me. So overall, although they have flaws in their defense, check this out. Did I do the pass? Let's see, pass. Yeah, pass defense. We're 35th at 192. They're 55th, so we're kind of close right there. But overall, even though it seems like they're way down the scale from us, overall in total defense, we're ranked 32nd in total defense. They're ranked not too far away. I'm trying to read my handwriting here. I think this is 44th. If it's not 44th, it's 24th. 24th. So overall, in total yards given up, they actually give up less yards than we do. But our scoring is where it matters because I think that's how you build a defense. Find out what you are. Work on your red zone defense in your first year. And then you get better in everything else. Because if you can't stop people in the red zone, I don't care what you do really between the 20 and the 20. You have to protect your red zone. You know, you have to protect the red zone, protect the end zone, but you have to perfect your red zone defense immediately, like day one. And I think that's what Kane Womack has started to do. You know, we had a new philosophy, and I think he's done a good job at that. Now, when you get to sacks allowed, that's where it changes for the Sooners. The Tide gives up 1.7 sacks a game, which is too many for me. I like to keep that at one or less. I got to be realistic. Sometimes, Milroe holds on to the ball too long. Sometimes it's a coverage sack, what have you. We're 56 in the amount of sacks that we give up. I ain't even write down how, where they're ranked. They way at the bottom. The Sooners give up 4.1 sacks per game. It's the wrong team to come at like that. I mean, the only way we don't get 4 sacks is because we picking up 3 interceptions. So I expect that to be a real advantage for us in this game. Now, as I said, injuries for them, they got a lot of people out, but for us, we still got the same 3 people out, and they commended the staff for keeping everybody healthy. Injury-wise, we still got Keon Saab is out with his broken foot, bone in his foot. We got Q Robinson out, elbow surgery, and we have Cole Adams out with a lower leg injury. But here are my keys to the game. On offense, I think I want the Tide to be able to pound the ball. I said earlier, 175 yards a game. I want 200 yards on the game. Let me make a correction on my notes. I want 200 yards on the ground to set up our pass. And if we go 200 yards on the ground, it should open up the weaknesses I saw from them in their secondary. It should once we weaken their front and slow their pass rush down, we should be able to seek at least three or four explosive plays in the pass game, which is my second key. I want to see at least 3 explosive passes in the pass game because we got to get ready for the rest of the season. So we need to get back. Let's start reincorporating that long pass, backing people away from the line. We may have to run Milroe, but I'm not talking about a bunch of passes. I'm still talking about 25 passes or less, but I want to see the big explosives. 2 Ryan Williams or K Law, or Kobe Prentice, who Odom, Oops, the tight ends. I did look up how to pronounce his name. I'm going to see if I mess it. Quavas or DEBOER, our tight ends. Let's get the ball down the field to them. Let's get the ball way down the field, whether it's, tight end, you're talking 20, 30 yards. Ryan Williams and them, you're talking a lot further, even older. Let's get at least 3 explosive plays after we wear these guys down up front. Number 3, be careful with this defense. Let's not let them stick their chests out. We got to demoralize them with the run. But be careful. Limit sacks and turnovers. Limit them. I mean, I'm talking about 1 in each category is enough. It's almost too much. If you can go 0, but keep them down. The defense, knowing the coach at Oklahoma like we've been watching him for years, his defensive coordinator is his background. This is where their bread butter is right now. While they're figuring things out on offense. As far as our defense is concerned, we need to make their offense worse. If they are 118th in total offense at 326 a game, let's keep them about 275. Let's keep their total offensive output to 275, and let's Barnes has been out and he's been hurt. Now let's make him hurt. Let's stuff that run. I mean, that's really stuff that run. We've been working on his run fits. It's been getting better against different teams. Now, as you get into closer to championship bowl games, I think we can say bowl games, or possible championship appearance, we got to be able to stuff people's runs. I don't care who it is. We got to stuff it. Number 2, confuse that offensive line. Switch it up. Schemes, make them feel this. While we're doing that, show them the eye candy. Do a bait and switch to the quarterback. If the quarterback think this guy's going to cover, switch it. Zone blitzes, whatever we got to do. You got to force this quarterback into mistakes. He's getting a little more comfortable as the season goes on, but Jackson Arnold is indeed not comfortable with that offensive line, with that offense. I would not be surprised if they just did a whole upheaval based on what I saw. I was ready to fire the offensive coaches, all of them. I was ready to get rid of the whole thing, but that ain't my call. So we got to confuse that line. It's our second key. And my third, what I love to do on the third one, game-changing plays by the defense. I want to see 15. And in particular, tackles for loss, interceptions, sacks. It's a whole bunch. You got 3 and outs, 4 and outs. You got, not the passes defended. But in those 3 areas, I think we can really take advantage. Tackle for losses, interceptions, and sacks. I think with that, the Tide should be able to go out there and take this win on the road. I'm thinking 42. I'm going to go about 42-13. 42-13. Tide stays healthy, and we get to moving on and get ready for them turkeys on the other side of the state. That's how I see it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I will be watching the game here live at 7:30. Check me out. No need to watch it alone. You can be with me as we celebrate the Tide on to victory or something else. All my emotions will be on Front Street right here on Tight Sports. So please join me. And as always, remember, roll, Tide, roll.